This is Juan from the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. All about our episode today is about Parasite, sponsored by San Marcos Restaurant, as they have Monday through Friday specials, $6.99 all day, Monday through Friday. Monday is the taco salad, Tuesday is the chimichanga, Wednesday you can have the enchiladas, Thursday is the tamales, and Friday is the burrito. Monday through Friday specials located at San Marcos Restaurant, Southwest 59th and Agnew in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, as they are the official sponsor of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Houston, we have a problem.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
I'm your number one fan.
And here we go.
Happy Monday, moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am your host, Juan, and I am joined here alongside with Ed.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Zach.
What's going on, guys?
And happy Monday, guys. It's another Monday, and it's another episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. And I am extremely happy about this episode here today because we are talking Parasite. The 2019 masterpiece that just got done winning big at the Oscars. But guys, how's your week been?
It's going good. How about you guys?
I can't complain. Got some work done, some other viewings done, a little here and a little there, so pretty fun.
But we're going to start this episode off with the massive DC plug, and that is one.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Pattinson's Batsuit was shown over this past weekend. And I got to say, I am very pleased. Yeah. I enjoyed it. And it feels, from everything I've read, it's like year two of Robert Pattinson's Batman career. So they're taking some early steps into like the year one, year two Batman. I'm excited. I want to hear some of you guys' take. I know I showed everybody the photo. It's on the Instagram. It's on the Twitter, and it's on the Facebook. So, what do you guys think?
No, I was actually looking into it a little bit on what some people around the interwebs were thinking of it. And some people are speculating that, I think like you've already mentioned a few episodes back, that it's going to be like the Arkham Knight
it looks like the Arkham Knight Batman. It's the first Batman that you can tell that has a full collar, which is something straight out of the comic books.
A popped collar.
Collar.
So that's pretty cool. On top of that, apparently the bat sign might or might not be, rumor, mechanically usable. Like armor or weapons.
I've also read that it's he made, this is again just rumor and innuendo, but it's the his bat signal or his bat sign that's on the suit is not only, like you said, Ed, removable, but it's made from the iron that killed his parents from the gun.
Oh damn!
Oh wow,
that would be
deep. Yeah,
if that's true. Holy shit!
But you can tell that this suit is definitely something that he made himself. He didn't get from like a Lucius Fox or anything like that. Like this is Bruce Wayne made.
I think that's really, really cool and a really good thing. Plus, I mean, don't get me wrong, Pattinson fits it. Seems like.
And the ears, I don't know. Did you guys see a full headshot of him? Like, did you see the ears and all?
No.
I'll pass it around here. But Zach, let me get your thoughts right quick while I'm looking for that photo.
I think it looks cool. I really do think that Robert Pattinson's gonna change people's minds when this film comes out. And the most awesome thing about it, he just looks comfortable, like he's ready to do it. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like
Which it's the way the ears look, it looks like a Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah,
so
throwing it back to Keaton.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the armor plates look really cool. The belt, that looks actually really kick-ass. All the little pouches and stuff like that.
And then there's video online that you can check out on Twitter of Bruce Wayne getting mugged and beaten up by a few of the thugs. It looks like they're penguin thugs. So,
Okay.
it looks exciting, and I can't wait for next June.
Which is supposed to be Colin Farrell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have Andy Serkis as Alfred.
And then, did you see who the Riddler is? Paul Dano.
Yeah.
It's probably the Riddler.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'm excited. This is.
I think it's going to be.
So I was
cool.
wondering who the Dano, who the Dano character was. I was like, that-
And you have a really good director in Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
So
He took the Planet of the Apes movies and not only made them his own, but he made them watchable
yeah.
and really, really good. I mean,
and fun too.
yeah, those are something we might have to talk about some Planet of the Apes before the Batman comes out.
Mm-hmm. Or Cloverfield. He directed Cloverfield.
That's true.
So
speaking of this past week, last week's episode, Birds of Prey, still racking up the numbers. Want to appreciate everybody listening to the Birds of Prey episode, which you can find on Spotify, Anchor, and Podbean. Trailers. You guys see some of the new trailers that came out recently?
Not really that I can count on with
Excuse me.
what is it? Movies, but I did see the Stranger Things trailer.
yes.
Or well, at least
it's like a
think
teaser. Yeah. With
which
Hopper, he's.
I figured. I mean, don't get me wrong.
They weren't going to kill him off.
When they said, "Oh, the American," I figured. Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
Like
It's going to be interesting how they're going to explain like how did he get in Russia?
I've heard there's
Like a teleportation device or something.
Well, a possibility of like a doppelganger, and it's going to be the real Hopper is in the under the under.
And the under.
And then there's the actual one, or the actual one's in the under, and then the doppelganger
is in Russia.
In Russia for some stupid reason, and he's like a darker person or something like that. Only a rumor though.
Right.
I don't truly know. People,
Because I don't.
I mean, hey.
Is it? It's coming out this year, right? Like October maybe, or is it next year?
I heard it was
I'm not 100%
2021.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
The only one that I know is like.
I don't know if
The
we talked about it
Witcher.
last week, but during the Super Bowl, I don't think we talked about it all last week. Captain America and Winter Soldier comes out in August on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier and
Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And then
yeah.
WandaVision is, I want to say December.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, okay.
Loki looks next spring.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus is racking up the TV shows coming out, which I mean I'll check them out. I mean
Yeah.
I still need to finish The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give you a pass,
But as we're gonna get ready to talk to Ed about some interesting box office numbers this weekend,
Yes.
I'm pretty shocked, but I really hope that Birds of Prey, like I said last week, stayed into the top 3. So I think we're gonna go ahead and Ed,
Some box office.
box office numbers. I think you know what number 1 is this week.
All right, so for the weekend of February 14th through the 16th. Now remember, this was Valentine's Day, so probably a couple little things here and there.
So
All right. So the weekend gross was $58 million, and I'm going from the top one to number 5. That is Sonic the Hedgehog at $58 million. So
I actually heard it was pretty good.
That's
It's
what I've
way
heard so
way
far.
better than everyone thought it was going to be.
That's what I've heard so far, and that's why I've been like griping at everybody to like go see it if you like are one of the ones who was like crying about the
The animation, yeah.
So number 2, a little bit of a difference, but number 2 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Or as it's called now, Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. I don't know really what was the point of that, but
just like the X-Men. When X-Men first came out, it was called Dark Phoenix, and then when the Blu-ray came out, they called it X-Men Dark Phoenix, thinking it, raise
crowds
it.
numbers, yeah.
with $17.3 million, bringing its total up to $59.4 million. Number 3 is Fantasy Island. Weekend gross was $12.4 million. The Photograph comes in at number 4, I'm sorry about that, with $12.2 million, so not too far behind Fantasy Island. And number 5 is Bad Boys for Life, $11.5 million, with a total gross of $181.5 million. So,
$100 million?
181.
Oh, over the weekend.
Oh, no. $11.5 million over the weekend. Its total so far has been 181.5.
Oh, okay.
So, that's like with Birds of Prey. It's so far 59.4 total. Weekend was 17.3, but it's only been 2 weeks to where Bad Boys for Life has been 5. So I mean,
Well, I mean, like in that 5 weeks, it's pretty much stayed number one for the most of the time.
1917 is at 144.4, and it's been out for 8.
Yeah.
Um,
Does that come out number 6?
yes, and
Yeah.
then the movie we're doing today is number 7 at 5.7 million this weekend with 43.4 million dollars, and it's been apparently out for 19 weeks.
Yeah, it had a theater release of October the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Zach
had like a re-release after the Oscars since it won Best Picture.
Zach, since we're getting ready to talk some 4 things you didn't know about Parasite, which I'm pretty sure these are non-spoiler right quick, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to go in your number 4 and head into number 1.
Okay, let's do it. So number 4, the let me see, Kevin, who's we're going to be talking about him here in a little bit, who's the poor kid of the family. He's a tutor, a home tutor for the rich family. But Bong Joon-ho, director, said home tutor he picked home tutor because it's the only way he thought that families of the opposite sides really come into contact with each other, because otherwise it's just like split right down the middle. Here's the poor and here's the rich.
Yeah.
He was also a tutor for a rich family.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he knows that little way of life.
Which I found pretty interesting.
That's cool.
Number 3, if you really think about it, I thought this was kind of interesting. The Parks, the rich family, are in their own way parasites, and that they're parasites and they need companionship from the other side of the other family.
They also need the poor people to do everything for them.
Correct. Number 2, Bong Joon-ho conceived this as a play before originally when he wrote the film, when he wrote it, but he started thinking about where the camera could be in different positions in the film, and it turned out to be a film, as we're going to talk about. And then the number 1, I thought this was really interesting. Bong Joon-ho ties Walt Disney by winning 4 Oscars in one ceremony. Bong Joon-ho won it for Parasite 4 times, but Walt Disney won 4 Oscars in one ceremony for 4 different films. So, and that's the 4 things you didn't know about Parasite.
That's some digging. I did see some extra. Did you see the bonus features on this movie?
I didn't know.
On the Blu-ray disc, there's only 3.
It's just a Q&A, right?
There's a Q&A, and then the 2 trailers. But as the news reported earlier in the week, Zach, you shared with me, I think the only reason that's the special features is because there is going to be a Criterion version of this film released.
There is.
And I'm pretty sure that's why they're saving all the special features.
Yeah.
But the Q&A, I will say, if you guys pick up the Blu-ray or rent the Blu-ray or the DVD, I'm pretty sure the Q&A is going to be on that feature. It's 19 minutes roughly, but it's a good Q&A.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about this. Maybe we did, I don't remember, but Criterion is also going to release 2 of the Netflix films that were nominated for Best Picture, Marriage Story and The Irishman.
Which I think I'm excited.
So we'll be buying a lot of Criterion this year.
Hopefully hopefully they're available in July.
Yeah, because well, you told me that The Irishman and Marriage Story probably won't come out till Christmas.
Which is sad. Yeah, that's true.
So,
I hope it comes out over the summertime.
Yeah, because we need the $20 sale.
Yeah. Either way, I those are something I'm going to pick up. But guys, let's talk about some recent watches lately. Has anybody recommend anything? There's been some talk that we might change recent watches into recently recommended or our recommendations. Ed, we'll start with you. You say anything pretty fun over the week?
Yeah, actually, I've seen the Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, the one where he saves Dan Marino and all that.
Oh yeah, good flick.
It's funny to know what Jim Carrey is able to do and all that, even the stupid.
Would you check that on? Is that on Netflix or?
No, actually, I checked it out on TV. I cannot remember the channel though.
Probably TNT or comedy or something like that.
That's what I was thinking. But yeah, wife was watching it, so I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Stumbled in. Hey, still kind of going on.
I gotta rewatch those soon. Those are some fun films, especially with Jim Carrey on top of the box office this week.
Yeah. I actually checked out a little bit of an interview about another podcast for that matter, with Jenna Fisher, and Angela Kinsley. And if you may know those names or want to know who that is, they played on The Office as Jenna Fisher played Pam and Angela played Angela. was talking about different things behind the set and behind the scenes and all that stuff about like what Steve Carell would do, and about apparently his timing was really, really brilliant in comedy, and he would try and break people, as in even on camera on some of the stuff they kept that wasn't originally in the script. He would pretty much make them like do different things and just keep the joke running until it kind of was awkward in a way.
He would get a real reaction out of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And make all the other cast members kind of go, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
Right.
are we okay? But yeah, basically check that out. Check some of my old shows out for that matter. So
Nice.
kind of, yeah.
You guys can follow recent watches with me at one word, not even the one word Cine-Men Movie Podcast on the Instagram. You guys can also check us out on the Facebook page, facebook.com/moviereels405. So anyway, my recent watches of the week started off with Waves on Tuesday last week, and Zach, I messaged you about Waves. Have you checked it out?
I have not, no.
Oh my God. Waves is probably one of the best movies of last year for me. I wish I would have seen this before the best of episode, because it probably would have fit into like my top 10. There's so much emotion. It's a 2-hour flick, and the first hour is about the brother and his big old bunch of emotions, and the second and third and final act is about the sister. You could not ask for a better group of actors for this movie. If anybody sees it out on the Redbox, I really recommend you check it out or pick it up. If you have a rental video store, I would check it out. It's really worth like $5-6 to rent it. Then I recently watched Star is Born. I've been on like a Lady Gaga kick recently, and I don't know why, but man, I forgot how good that movie is.
Yeah.
The movie is so good. Then I checked out The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. It's kind of a fun flick. Casablanca, rewatched that.
Nice.
The Breakfast Club, since we celebrated the 35th anniversary over the week. I believe it was on Thursday or Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So I checked that out. Beverly Hills Cop 3, just because that's the only one I didn't see in my collection. It was terrible.
Oh,
it was
bad,
terrible.
huh?
It was bad. I if I had to give it a star, which I did, I gave it a 4 star. I gave it a dud.
Oh, no.
And then Zach, my recent watch might go into some of yours, but I checked out The Artist.
Okay.
I was really excited to rewatch this before today's episode.
You want to save that for top 5? The conversation on that?
If you want to.
Okay. Because that's one of my recent watches. And then I also checked out, I did another like binge watch of a TV show. I checked out Swamp Thing on the DC Universe app. Incredible.
Really?
It was a very good show.
Why do you
I don't
think they're one and
understand
done?
why creative differences. And I can see why
Cash and creative.
but like I can see the problems with it. Like if someone pointed out to me, I can understand, because there are aspects of it where they try to go for a hard like HBO horror show, and then other times it's like something you would watch on the CW. So the cast was really good. I thought the creature design of Swamp Thing was very, very good. It was just, and of course, they set it up for another season, and then it doesn't happen. You're just like, God damn it. And then yesterday I got to go check out finally. Now, I know how you feel about this actor, Johnny, but I think you really need to see this movie. I checked out Just Mercy in the theater for a limited time between now, I think over the weekend till I think Thursday. You can go see it for $5
Oh yeah?
at Harkins.
That bad, huh?
No. Let me tell you something. If I'd seen this before, that would have been my number 2 film of the year.
Really?
Incredible film.
Really?
It's just emotionally charged. I thought Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Foxx deserved Oscar nominations. And there's one scene in particular that is just, the only way I can describe it is like emotional terrorism. It's just so...
How long is it? Does it drag?
No, it's 2 hours and 17 minutes, but it's
Really?
just like that. It's an incredible film, and
You said all month it's $5.
no, just between like I think it was like Friday till this coming Thursday. You can go. It's at As of right now, it's at Harkins, Quell Springs, and I think Norman. It's like you can see it for $5.
Probably just wait for the Blu-ray, but yeah,
I know how you are about Jamie Foxx, but that's one of his best performances.
I haven't seen Jamie Foxx in a really, really good movie since like probably
Ray.
Baby Driver. I enjoyed what he did in Baby Driver.
Okay.
Yeah, he was really good as in there.
Crazy Bats.
Yeah.
So,
I actually picked up Baby Driver for $3.
good. Where'd you get it at?
Best Buy.
Best Buy for $3.
And a $3 bid.
Nice.
So.
Probably because Kevin Spacey was on the cover.
Aww.
Basically.
But yeah, let's get right into one of our favorite topics and subjects, and this segment of the episode is brought to you by San Marcos this week, as they are our new sponsor. You can check out San Marcos at 59th and Southwest 59th Street, right there on Agnew in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They have awesome Monday through Friday specials at $6.99. Monday is the taco salad. Tuesday is the chimichanga. Wednesday are the enchiladas. Thursday are the tamales, and Friday is the burrito. Again, Monday through Friday specials, $6.99 all day, Monday through Friday. San Marcos Restaurants, right there, Southwest 59th and Agnew in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, as they are the official sponsor of the Cine-Men movie podcast. And let's get into the top 5. Alright guys, this week, since we're talking probably one of the most mind-boggling masterpieces of all time, at least in my eyes, we are talking about Parasite. And not only did it win Best Foreign Film at the Oscars, and it also won Best Foreign Film at the Golden Globes. So we're going to talk our best foreign films of all time, at least in our eyes and in our minds.
And just to be clear, I mean, I think all of us can agree that international films or foreign films are not the go-to. So we've only seen like maybe a handful.
Hey, speak for yourself, man.
So you have like a whole section over here for international films.
No, you know what surprised me? We'll talk. I think we're gonna add this to every top 5. Is that we'll give our own touch on the theme every week. And this week, like to me, I was talking to somebody about it over the weekend. Foreign films to me, I feel like they're kind of hard to mess with, kind of hard to deal. Obviously, if you speak that language or understand, that it's different. But like as far as me not knowing a lick of what I'm, listening to, I think if you have no kind of distractions around you,
mm-hmm.
I think some of the foreign films that they have, or some that are out that you can get to,
they're incredible films.
They are,
mm-hmm.
And not only are they incredible, but I felt like it with Parasite again today. When I was, reading the dialogue and watching the actors, I felt like I didn't even have to read. Like I felt like I understood just by the body language. And that's how you can tell you have a very good foreign film. But that's my take on it, and I think every week we'll kind of give some takes and some thoughts and some stuff. But this week, top 5 international films. Anybody have any honorable mentions?
I do have 2.
2? Zach?
I have 1. You have any, Johnny?
I do. I'm going to go with my honorable mentions. Again, I'm going to rapid fire through these since they're honorable mentions. Nosferatu, Spirited Away, The Devil's Backbone, Old Boy, the Japanese version, and Amelia. Those are mine. Ed, what about you?
So one of them is going to be Death Note, the Netflix version, which is from 2017. The only reason I'm not putting this in the top 5 is because it did miss the mark to a point, and it was more westernized than actually foreign, but it was taken from a foreign concept, so I will kind of include it. It's given like a half point, you know what I mean? The other one is the Shingeki no Kyojin, or for those who don't know the actual anime, Attack on Titan. They actually came out with a trio, and the first one was alright. The other 2 lost their mark hard. So, plus when you literally leave out one of the most important characters in the entire series, you fuck up big. And they left Captain Levi out, you bastards. So,
Zach, what about you?
My only honorable mention is Metropolis. Let me see. From 1927, silent film, but extremely incredibly well done. Just technically a technical achievement in film.
Nice. My number 5 is going to be off the Criterion shelf, and that is Pan's Labyrinth from one Guillermo del Toro. I recently checked this out, probably about maybe 10 years ago on DVD, and I was like completely just like blown away by it. And then when I rebought the Criterion of it, I was like, wow. Not only does he bring his stylish, uh,
Je ne sais quoi, basically.
yeah, but some of his characters, have you noticed, like that are in his movies, are also like in other movies that he's done. But I enjoy his touch. I enjoy everything he usually does.
He uses the same actor for the creature,
Right.
whatever it is, Hellboy or well, not Hellboy himself, but Ape and the ape thing from Shape of Water, Doug Jones.
Doug Jones, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I gave it a 10. It's a movie that I feel like I want to cover one day here on the podcast. From 2006, Pan's Labyrinth. So that's my number 5. Ed, what do you got number 5?
Number 5. Sorry about that. Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and go with Ip Man, the original, basically based on the life of Bruce Lee's teacher, Ip Man. Beautiful movie. If you can concentrate on both the movie as well as the dialogue, then you are in for a great ride. If you like action, which most of mine are going to be action or anime flicks, basically.
I found Walmart had the trilogy on Blu-ray for like $14
That's not bad.
a few years ago, and I picked it up, and yeah, they're astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Donnie Yen, if I'm not mistaken, and I mean,
From Rogue One.
yeah, he always seems to do a kick-ass job, whether foreign or domestic or.
He's also in the.
know.
He's gonna be in Mulan.
Yeah, so I'm really happy with that choice. I expect great things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Zach, what about you? What do you got at 5?
My number 5, you talked about it here just recently before we did top 5, is The Artist, from France, Best Picture winner of 2011. Yes. Is this on your list, Johnny?
Negative.
It's not. Okay, so the first time I saw this film, I hated it. I thought it was awful. I understand why this won Best Picture, just because it's playing to the sentiment of literally the silent era of Hollywood. But after this rewatch over the weekend, man, I dug it, man. I thought it was very, very well done. I kind of like right when the intro opens with the artist, and it's just like, yeah, I feel like I'm watching a film from that era.
Which is true. The film is astonishing as far as what it paid homage to.
Yes.
As far as the movie goes.
But I appreciate the storyline.
The story is great.
Yeah.
And the way they tell the story is great. Like, the emotion. I thought, to make it look like a silent film from the 20s, they did an excellent job. That's exactly what it pointed out to do. Won a bunch of hardware. It deserved it.
Yes.
But my only big problem was we're not in 1929. And I think the Oscars need to, at least this is one of the issues I had with the Oscars back in the day. And I think they kind of switched it up. Because if they didn't, Once Upon a Time would have won. I feel like, what was it, almost 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I feel like 10 years ago, this movie was not the best picture in 2011. I think when you have performances by George Clooney for The Descendants, Brad Pitt in Moneyball,
yeah,
I think those actors doing the work that they did in 2011, you could probably name one of them two deserve the best actor.
Right. Well, and it's one of those situations that other than maybe the Wolf of Wall Street and the Monuments Men, I don't know what else the main actor has done. But
even the Tree of Life came out and was nominated that year.
Yeah.
The Tree of Life, to me, 10 times better than The Artist. I think it was just them, like you saying, a movie from our time. Pretty much, that's probably how old they are.
Well, and like the thing is, it's just like the reason I enjoy that storyline is that did happen.
Right.
There was a lot of silent film actors that they couldn't transition or they did not want to transition into the inventive sound.
But see, you're also a big silent film fan.
Right. I can watch Charlie Chaplin films and Hitchcock and whatever. And so I'm just kind of like,
Well,
yeah,
see, I mean, don't get me wrong, the artist isn't entertaining, and I enjoy some silent films, but like just as far as like did it deserve the nomination? Definitely,
yeah,
but I don't think it deserved the win. When you have movies up there like I just mentioned, like The Tree of Life, Hugo, The
yeah. Hugo was
Descendants,
good. Yeah,
I just at that time you're supposed to pay homage to there's a reason silent films died out.
right.
That's my only gripe about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the Oscars 10 years ago was very had a hard on if anything, if it represented anything of the past, it's gonna win.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, like I said, I rewatched it this weekend and I
I'm glad
really
you
enjoyed
put it. What you had it as a 5?
I think originally I had it like a 5, but now I have it like a 8.5. So
But no, as far as top 5 goes, that's your number
that's my number 5.
number 5. My number 5 is going to be.
Oh, did you do 5? Okay.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
My number 4. I'm sorry, is gonna. I thought it was Ed's turn. My number 4 today is gonna be Parasite. We're gonna talk about it, and I'll leave it at that. Ed, what do you got at number 4?
So number 4, okay, so Bahubali, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pronouncing it correct, but basically it's about a kingdom of Mahishmati or something like that, and pretty much it's about like a king pursuing a love interest. And the thing is, I've never really been in the Indian movies for that matter, much, but I've seen on Facebook a like 5 or 6 minute clip of a extremely badass war scenario, like just the battle of the war, and it was badass. I mean, the choreography was great. It was choreography I'd even line up to maybe Lord of the Rings, Return of the King type.
Oh,
At
damn.
the end, I mean, I was just blown away by
Your number
just the
4?
production. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, after that, I was trying to find out what the hell this movie was, and I've only gotten to see most of it, and that's why I put it lower on the list, because I don't know the exact end. But if you just want some kick-ass action, there's some India films that I've kind of delved in that take it to like.
You said you saw it on YouTube?
Yeah, I saw the clip on YouTube, but I don't even. I think it was on Fire Stick a year or so ago. I found it eventually, and yeah, it was, the action just blew me away, and then they didn't do too much over the top stuff, but yeah, so it was Bahubali. If you ever, the beginning for that matter, if you ever get a chance to check it out,
Nice.
I would strongly recommend if you can follow along. It's good.
Zach, what do you got at number 4?
Number 4, Johnny, you had it in your honorable mentions, Nosferatu. I've talked about it on. I know I've had it in my top 5 for something else, horror films or something.
Yeah. Or I think we did our top, top 5 vampire flicks or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else you could say about it. It's an incredible film. There's just some silliness to it, like the hyena. I don't understand what that was about, but a incredible performance from Max Schreck. He's an ugly motherfucker. That he even looked like that without the makeup. So what does that tell you?
That's the name of That's the name of one of the main villains in Batman Returns, Max Schreck.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, Nosferatu. I think it's a film that deserves at least a viewing once, maybe once.
I'm surprised that's not on Criterion.
Yeah,
but I know there's some licensing issues with Nosferatu, so that's an interesting number 4.
Yeah.
My number 3 is going to be Amour from 2012. George and Anne are an octogenarian couple. I'm trying to read the synopsis here. But anyway, he's a retired music teacher, and he takes care of Anne, who had a stroke. And if you guys want to cry your eyes out and just pretty much bawl the entire time, it's one of those movies that really... It's a France movie, so it's really captivating as far as like love goes, and the way the two actors like look and stare at each other throughout this whole movie is just, that's enough right there to get you glued. But that is my number 3, Amour. So Ed, what do you got number 3?
Well, I'm gonna take it, and this is a different one, but Death Note, 2000, if I'm not mistaken, 14. Totally different, part of an actual trilogy. The reason this one is better than the Netflix adaptation is because this one kept a lot more to the story of canon, for that matter, and it brought it to life. On top of that, don't get me wrong, always a great thing to include the chip scene. It's so stupid, but it's so fantastic and just well plotted, for that matter, in that scene. But I mean, the dialogue is very, very, very well done, and how they stuck with canonical in the first one, at least. I haven't gotten the chance to continue the story with the other two because I haven't found them. But the first Death Note, 2014, if I'm not mistaken, or 2011, one of the two, is actually, if you're a fan of the anime, I strongly recommend that one. The Netflix, maybe, but it's kind of a bastardized version of it, so definitely the older one. So,
Zach, what do you got at number 3?
Number 3, Johnny, you had it yours at number 5, Pan's Labyrinth. I saw that for the first time, I think, last year or the year before. I'm always a fan of Guillermo del Toro and whatever he's gonna do, and I think Shape of Water is obviously the one that got him the Oscar, but I think Pan's Labyrinth is his masterpiece. What do you think, Johnny?
Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie wasn't even nominated for an Oscar, I think.
I think it was nominated for international film, but I don't know if it won.
I know it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just awards, to some people they don't even matter.
Right.
I think Pan's Labyrinth is probably his masterpiece, just because it touches war, it touches, feelings, in every kind of feels that you can have, it touches.
Yeah. Growing up
Yeah.
at that age, yeah.
So, if you have a chance to check out The Devil's Backbone, also, that movie is outstanding.
Did he
Really,
direct-
really creepy.
Did he direct
it.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of the movies that put him on the map. My number 2 is going to be a tie, and just because I could not choose between the two, 2A is going to be The Raid. A SWAT team becomes trapped in a pretty much a rundown, ruthless building, and it's got mobsters, an army of killers and thugs. It's pretty much a badass SWAT action film. They made The Raid 2, and I even think the Raid 3 is coming out. But as far as movies, as far as like, if you want good action Japanese flicks, The Raid is amazing. And then my 2B is going to be The Untouchables, which is ended up getting an Americanized version, but this version that I'm talking about is the better one, believe me, by far. After he becomes paraplegic, or a quadriplegic, from a paragliding accident, an Aristocat hires a young man from the projects to be his caretaker. And again, this is the I want to say it was French. Pretty sure it was a French version. Yes, this is the French version. The remade version, Zach, if you can remember, is the movie with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. That's the Americanized version. The Untouchables is the French original version.
Oh, The Upside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this one is just a lot more better. Again, the actors are some of the top French actors that they have. And if you guys want to see it, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. I used to own the Blu-ray, but I don't anymore. Those movies were really hard to get back in the day. Amour and The Untouchables. I think I paid like $30 for them.
30?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And they're not even Criterion.
No. So I don't know why, but foreign films 10 years ago was a lot harder to get a hold of than they are now. But The Untouchables and The Raid is tied for number 2 for me. Ed, what do you got at number 2?
Number 2, kind of had a hard time with placement with this list, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Ong Bak, a Thai film for that matter. And honestly, I think the original one is really cool. simply because this movie used a lot of purely physical stunts, and I mean, you could really tell it was Tony Jaa pulling off all of his own stunts. The man's an actual martial artist. He's an actor. He's kind of a Thai Jackie Chan, if you will. But the thing that I find really cool about Tony Jaa, and even the Ong Bak series for that matter, is that it actually got him over to the States, for that matter, in one of the Fast and the Furious movies. He plays one of the badass villains, if I'm not mistaken, in Furious 7.
Yes.
And
he's kind of has like a rivalry between him and Paul Walker.
Yeah, and he kind of kicked Paul Walker's ass at points. But yeah, he's a short guy, but definitely is viewed as a powerful martial artist. And he got to show off a lot of this in that film. Ong Bak 2, the beginning, and Ong Bak 3, Thai Warrior, if I'm not mistaken. All three are worth a definite check out, but I just love the kind of groundedness that the original Ong Bak has. It's really nice, really cool. So definitely check that out. That's my number 2.
Zach, what about you?
My number 2, we've definitely talked about on the show, is Godzilla, the original Godzilla from Japan, 1954.
So, Gojira.
Yes. Look, don't get me wrong. The Americanized version that we are currently having with Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters are great. The visual effects of these creatures are incredible, but you gotta take it back all the way to a guy in a suit just destroying little models on a soundstage.
If I'm not
It's
mistaken,
incredible.
he had a 3 or 5 minute window to where he could actually perform in that suit.
Yeah, because it was so heavy.
Well, not only that, but it was so hot because apparently it was like 115 or 110 in that suit.
Mm-hmm.
No one's Zach. I'm surprised that's number 2.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something else that outdid it, but that was in contention for number 1. But we'll talk here in a little bit.
Like I was saying, the ones that I have seen, it's kind of hard to place. I mean, in all honesty.
I had a hard time too with this list. I really didn't know what was going to be number 1. I knew what was going to be placed where, except for one and the other one. But right now, I'm probably going. My number 1 is going to be from 2000, and it's the concept from where the Hunger Games came from, and it's Battle Royale. I've talked about this movie numerous times on the show.
We were close to doing an episode on that.
It's going to be an episode this year. It's in the near future. The Japanese government captures a class of 9th grade students and forces them to kill each other under the Revolutionary Battle Royale Act.
Fuck them kids.
It's pretty much. It's an amazing piece of art. You guys got to see it for yourselves. I can't wait to talk about this movie one day.
Have you seen it, Ed?
It's pretty much the Hunger Games turned up to level 10, and it shows everything.
And the Hunger Games looks horrible compared to that.
It's really gruesome, and it's an amazing flick. And there's actually a trilogy pack. I think that's probably gonna be on the watch list this week. Which you know what's coming after that. Usually when it's on the watch list, it usually turns into an episode.
Yeah.
But that's my number 1, Battle Royale. You guys can watch it for free on IMDb TV. Then it's on Amazon Prime and all these other places to rent for like $3. Ed, what do you got at number 1?
Number 1, y'all have already mentioned it, but I'm going back to 1922.
I didn't mention it.
Shrek. Yeah, you did.
It was honorable mention. Yeah.
As Nosferatu. If I'm not mistaken, and I don't think I am, first vampire movie. The German actor portrayed pretty damn well, I feel. Kind of set the precedence of what the hell it should be. Apparently, Bram Stoker was kind of pissed off about it. And that's...
Well, not even him, his widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Was pretty pissed off about it, and that's why you cannot find many copies, because apparently most of them were truly destroyed way back when, and it wasn't truly supposed to reach airing. So I've got to say,
Well, and the thing is, that Blu-ray, if you can find it, it's like $30-$40. Like, it's expensive as hell. And
Actually, my dad used to have a VHS copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I have a DVD copy that I got like at the library sale for like $1.
Nice.
So.
But I mean,
My Blu-ray was only like $19.99.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest story to get into, but if you can get into it,
it's worth it.
It's not bad
Yeah.
at all. I think he would have been creepy to this day.
Yeah,
For that
me and Zach, we heavily talked about it on one of the Halloween episodes in October.
Dracula.
You guys can go check out that episode. So it's pretty good flick.
And there's another movie called Shadow of the Vampire, and it's about the making of Nosferatu, and it has our good old buddy William Dafoe playing Max Schreck.
Nice.
And John Malkovich as the director,
Wow.
F.W. Murrow. So it's an interesting movie.
What's your number one, Zach?
My number one movie we're here to talk about, Parasite.
Nice. I'm excited to see everybody's thoughts and views about Parasite, which had a October 5th, 2019 release date. The budget was $11 million, and so far to this date, it has grossed a little over $184.2 million. It was nominated for 6 Oscars, and it has won 4 Oscars. And guys, that's what we are talking about today, is Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. And Zach, let's start off with you. Let's go ahead and get first takes. And Zach, we'll start off with you. Where, if this is your third or fourth viewing or your second viewing, how do you compare your first viewing to what you just did for this podcast?
So first time I watched it was, I think you bought the Blu-ray and put it on Vudu,
right.
So I think it was like a week before the Oscars or whatever. First time I watched it, I was amazed by it. I was like, wow, that is a damn good movie. And like, if it wins Best Picture, I won't be hurt at all. This last rewatch, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Like, there was just something about it that yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way. I watched it literally the day it came out. Not a lot of movies do this to me, but I was completely glued.
How many times did you watch it?
This was my third viewing for the podcast.
Okay.
I will say this movie is amazing after the first and second and third view.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time I couldn't find any really flaws for this movie. And I think if I had a third viewing before the 2019 episode, this would probably be easily 1 or 2 for me. I really enjoy this, and I think as far as Bong Joon-ho's masterpiece goes, a lot of people wouldn't even really call this his masterpiece, because I know a lot of other people are entwined with his version of like Mother. I forgot what the name of the movie that was. But like, this movie itself to me is art.
Yes.
And to me, like, this is probably easily in my top 5 all time.
Would you even go one step farther and say it's one of the best of the decade?
Yeah. Yeah, easily. Ed, what about you? First thoughts?
Found the ride very, very entertaining, very pleasing, very. It explains itself in decent detail.
I don't know if you ever saw the theatrical trailer.
No.
But the actual trailer had nothing to do with it made you think that the movie was a straight up like horror movie.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the things, because I should say
it's Korean.
Asian horror can go one of 2 ways: extremely just violent, brutal, and just gory, or very, very, very paranormal.
Yeah. Very atmospheric, very like disturbing, scary.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. That I was kind of like nervous about watching it, to be fully fair and to be fully honest.
Well, me and Johnny, when we went and saw The Lighthouse, we saw the trailer for it, and we were just like, we heard about it. We didn't really know what was it going to be about, other than what the trailer saw us. And like, I think, were you interested in it when we first saw the trailer? It was just like, we're never going to get that. So
yeah, we saw the trailer. We were like, there's no way that we're going to get this released in theaters.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. The only thing I had seen beforehand was just reviews and then the picture.
There's another podcast that I listen to, and they do their podcast out of Hollywood, California. Oh. And even in California, they only had 2 showings of it.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But guys, right off hand, go ahead.
But I will say that just speaks volume for that movie, because literally, if you can go ahead and get multiple just truly limited showings around another country and supposedly where everything comes up, and get Best Picture, not just a nomination, but the award. That speaks volumes to me.
But guys, why do you think one of the main questions I'm going to ask right quick about it is why do you feel like this is, I don't know about you guys, but this movie has gained so much popularity even before the Oscar win, like November, December, like Parasite. That's all you were hearing. You're hearing Dark Horse. You're hearing it's probably going to win something major. It won Best Movie at Cannes Film Festival. It won Golden Globe. It won Oscars.
It won.
Why do you think this movie is more popular now compared to like some of the other foreign films back in the day?
Plot. Well, not necessarily just because plot is better or whatever, but it explains itself more, I feel. And it's more easy to follow, probably.
I think I'm going to take that. I'm going to take your idea and I'm going to push it a step further. I think it's just so. I don't want to say. Because it just transcends the idea of what a foreign language film is. Because like last year with Roma, we make fun of the film, but I mean that almost got to that. But Roma, I think, is just like there's just something that blocks it from making it to be like a good film to be a great film.
And but before we get too deep into the episode, without saying, hey, this movie this episode is going to be spoiler heavy. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. And it's still in theaters, but a poor family, the Kims, con their way into becoming the servants of a rich family, the Parks, but their easy life gets complicated when their deception is threatened with an unexplained exposure. And that, my friends, is what's interesting about this movie. But we're going to go ahead and say that the rest of this episode is going to be spoiler heavy. If you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. The Redbox. You guys can rent it online, $3.99. Xbox, $3.99.
And I think all three of us would agree that it deserves the opportunity to surprise you.
Oh yeah.
It deserves you. It deserves your attention, and I guarantee you won't be bored. No way through this film.
If you guys have heard any of the Marvel or Star Wars episodes in the past, you've heard Craig come onto the show and talk movies with us sometimes. He said he kind of got into the middle of it and was really, really confused because the place he went to, they were in the middle of it. I'm like, no, you need to watch it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And he said that it was explained to him really, really weird, and she didn't do a very good job of explaining it to him. So pretty much the best way that I can put it is that it's not really for everybody, but all it is a poor family that tries to force itself into a rich family with a major fucking twist.
Yeah.
You can say it easily like that, and that sounds interesting.
The title literally, it doesn't hold anything back. Parasite, it's,
Let's talk about Parasite. What do you guys think Parasite is? Do you think, to me, the way Bong Joon-ho explains it is that, Parasite can either be the poor family or it can be the rich family. Zach, like you touched in the 4 things you didn't know, the rich family cannot live life without using the poor labor. They cannot go on through life without using those poor people to cook for them, clean for them,
and they
think
also
for them, drive for them.
And they also need companionship, whether it be Kevin and the daughter or Jessica and the little boy.
Son.
Yeah. Or the driver and the dad, or whatever you want to call it.
And then you look at it from like the poor side of the family, like they want that taste, they want that feeling of wealth. You know what I mean? So in there's prime example, even at the beginning of the movie, they're Parasite as far as like, they sit there and they flick the bug, stink bugs.
Yeah.
And I like how it kind of transitioned at the end of the movie. They are the stink bug.
Yeah, the opening sequences of the air drying socks and like the little tiny below ground house, and then that's also how the movie ends.
What'd you guys think of the fumigation scene right offhand?
Oh my god, I mean, because there's so many different things that can go wrong in that, because that can be a toxic.
But that shows you, they are in need of something desperate for them to happen. None of them have jobs. They wake up with the Wi-Fi.
They use the Wi-Fi of the cafe or the neighbor. And I think Bong Joon-ho did a great job of just like, okay, these are the people then this is how they are. Like right off the bat, they're using the neighbor's Wi-Fi. They're getting free fumigation just by
But
a
even if
company
you've
doing
noticed
it.
in the beginning with the pizza boxes, Kevin is like, well, his fake name.
Yeah.
Kevin is kind of leeching off of the pizza owner,
Yeah.
because he's trying to make a deal.
Yeah.
From the moment the movie starts, they're wheeling, they're dealing. He's trying to make a deal, saying, hey, just give us give us the entire amount of the money. Then
I mean, don't get me wrong, they're hustlers, but it's kind of more of a legal hustle instead of like drug hustling. So I mean, at least that's a bright little.
And then I don't know if you guys caught the layers of meta in this movie, but I find it pretty fucking hilarious that the young actor who plays Kevin, let me get this.
I got his name right here. Hold
on. Kang Ho Song, which is the guy who plays Kim, the dad. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he is like the Robert De Niro of Korea, and the actor who plays Kevin, which is also Kim Ki-woo. I just thought it was kind of funny that they used that kind of actor for the dad, but he's like, since he's such a good, well-deserved, respected actor in Korea, I think it's funny later on in the movie you see Kevin kind of like teaching him how to act and say stuff.
Yes.
I just thought that was
that was just like so like a perfect how this family gets by, is that they literally have to rehearse everything that they say. Okay. They have to wash their clothes because the rich family caught on to, they all smell the same. Why is that?
We'll get to that, because that is the key part of this movie, and I want to bring that up a little bit later on.
There's so many layers to this film that we could spend like 3 hours talking about. I mean, it's incredible.
I also have here in my notes that The Rock, and I'm not talking about Dwayne Johnson. I'm talking about The Rock. I'm talking about The Rock that was given to the Kim family as a gift
by Scholar Rock.
Yeah. What did you guys think? What kind of? And we'll start with you. I have this question. I want you both to answer. What do you think The Rock symbolizes in this movie?
Well, Men says it's supposed to help bring wealth or bring knowledge to the family. So
right. But as far as like a meta feel for the movie, what the director was trying to like bring to the table, what do you think that Rock symbolizes for any of these people?
I would say more of a good luck charm.
Because like even the mom in the middle of the movie, she was like cleaning it, scrubbing on it.
Well, because don't get me wrong, in their culture, they want to take care of something that they believe is going to bring them good luck or wealth or fortune or anything like that, or even smarts for that matter. To not is to dishonor their legacy, to dishonor their entire line. To us, it's just another object. Some people keep lucky socks or a lucky rabbit's foot in their sock or something like that. Or a lucky coin in their pocket at all times. I mean, it's different things such as that. But, with especially like Japanese, Chinese cultures, they want to respect not only themselves but their entire family line and not dishonor that. So I feel kind of like it transitions to the same with Korean descent, but it just seems like they, if it gets dirty, that it'll tarnish that luck, if you will. You know what I mean?
What about you, Zach? As far as The Rock goes,
so ironically, The Rock, the Scholar Rock, as it's called, is actually one of the facts I was going to use, but it's just so fucking long. But I'll talk about it. But I interpret that as like it's almost like a shrine for the family, and that the friend brings it over. It's like, oh, I'll bring you good luck, and like you said, Ed, they keep it clean, they take care of it. But as we get later into the film, like it does what it's supposed to do. It brings materialistic items. It brings wealth. It brings salvation to the family. But in the end, it almost destroys the family. Literally. when we get to that. And then like I said, it was going to be one of my facts that I had in the top 4. Scholar stones or landscape rocks are known as Suseok in Korean, if I'm saying that correctly. And they have a deep history in East Asia. The director's father actually collected them, so he has a history with these rocks. The practice of collecting these attractively shaped stones dates back thousands of years, but they became a fixture in Korea during Korean society between like 1392 and 1897, when they were commonly displayed on the writing tables of Confucian scholars, hence their English name, Scholar Rocks. So this is not, something he just made up. This is actually a real thing.
Going into the first part where Kevin gets the tutor job, he's the first one who inserts himself into the family, and his friend says that, hey, I trust you. I don't think you'll hit on her. All these other college kids. Come to find out, it's the complete opposite.
Right.
Which I find it very, very funny and interesting. And then you insert the daughter by her pretty much just being a therapist for the little boy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's inserted into the mix.
Right.
And then that brings the dad
Yep.
inserted into the mix as the driver. What do you guys think about the way the daughter kind of just got the original driver fired?
See, to me, the daughter was the most brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
I get that, Kevin, or I forget Kim.
Yeah.
Is kind of the leader, but she is the most brilliant because, don't get me wrong, psychology and therapy.
Oh my God.
Is just a hard thing to grasp.
When she gets in there and starts talking about the little boy, he's like, oh, he's schizophrenic, and then the next thing is like, I just made all that shit up.
Well,
it's like, wow.
Well, don't get me wrong, literally, it kind of delves levels with her as well as with the mother, for that matter, because the mother, as Min said, is simple. Mm-hmm. Wants the best for her family. Simple as that. She's basically tasked with that. He makes the money, he runs the company and all that. The father, Mr. Park, and Miss Park, or Mrs. Park, I'm sorry about that, gets to go ahead and take care of home life, or at least manage it, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And for the girl to go ahead and basically trick the mother, kind of starts off the bat with the brother forging his letter of schooling, all different things like that. He did already have the actual recommendation from Min, the friend at the beginning, who is pretty much mentioned a couple times through the film, but not really after the first half is expired. The second half never gets mentioned, at least not that I remember. But I found her the most brilliant just because she attacked everything, and she kind of felt like a psychologist might, a true nature of the craft at least, with brilliant, just to the point, didn't bullshit, didn't go around the bush, nothing. Told the housekeeper, the original housekeeper at least, if she wanted her to leave, no, leave us. Well, no, I'll stay in and all that.
And then
leave.
And then once they got the dad inserted in the mix, it was like, out of all of them getting into the house, I don't know about you guys, but the one I enjoyed the most was when the mom got in as the housekeeper with the peaches.
Yes.
Because they knew that she was not going to go without a fight.
Yeah.
And I thought everything was so clever at how they got her out of the house.
And don't get me wrong, it just is brilliant.
Because the original maid is completely allergic to peaches.
Yeah.
One small peach fuzz gets on her and she breaks out into hives, and they ended up saying she's got tuberculosis, which I thought was fucking hilarious.
He squeezes like hot sauce onto the tissue or something.
But for them to actually shave the peach, literally just shave the peach and keep it in little bags, the brother and sister at least, just it goes to show another level of brilliance that he added, because he's
also like how naive the actual Parks family is.
Yeah. Well, and the friend said that, is like, the mother's just kind of a pushover, or she's just naive, and it's just like you can basically get away with anything almost,
as long as you have her trust.
So you're in the first hour of the movie, and you really get this sense of like, okay, not really horror.
No.
Not really. It's kind of a dark comedy, maybe a little lighthearted drama.
I was about to say drama.
Because right after the first...
And it's also a comedy.
Yeah.
In a really messed up way.
Right after the first hour, I think the mom is already inserted into the mix, and they're getting ready to really... the Parks family is getting ready to go on like a little vacation.
Camping trip,
3-4 day camping trip. And this is where everything gets interesting. So I want to point out that when they were kind of like having a little shindig party at the table. The Kim family,
Yeah.
they bring everybody over. They bring mom, the dad, the brother and sister, and they're drinking all the expensive wine and alcohol, and they're eating their snacks.
And there's some amazing like analogies that they're talking about, like how like Jessica, the daughter, is just like, why are you worrying about them? We're the
Worry
ones
about
that's
us.
suffering, yeah. And then the mom is just like, if I had money too, I can iron everything out with money.
She's like, I would be nice too. I'd be much nicer than her. And
Yeah.
the son goes on to say that they were talking about how if him and the daughter got together,
He's
you'd
gonna
be
buy
the
the house.
son-in-law of
I was
this
like,
man,
you can clean my stepson or stepdaughter's house.
Yeah.
And then like what I find interesting. I don't know if it was meant to be this meta, but at how when the daughter was drunk, she was gnawing on dog snacks.
Yeah.
Like almost like we're poor. That kind of taste is neutral. I'm used to shitty taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But it took her a little bit until she noticed.
Yeah.
But even when she noticed, she was still eating the dog treats.
She's
Right.
like, fuck it. It's already done. So.
But I think so much thought goes into some of these movies,
Mhm.
and then at the end of the day,
Kind of get lost in the whole mix of translation.
or some of the directors just troll the hell out of everything. Like, no, and that's what the director
Bong Joon-ho.
that's what he says about Parasite when somebody asked him at the Australian Q&A was that what, Parasite, go watch it. It's just a family film, and he trolled the fuck out of everybody. It's just a family film. Go enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a family movie. I'm gonna ask you guys this very quick. Right when the doorbell went off and you saw the old maid, what did you originally think?
I was like, oh shit, here's the, I thought she was literally coming to like shoot or stab or something like that. Because I'd read a little bit of a review that there was stabbings, so I'm like, oh shit, here she comes. She's gonna Michael Myers this bitch.
Zach, what about you?
Well, I mean, that first hour is basically them inserting themselves into the family, and then right after that, I think it's like hour and 3 minutes into the film, like that's when like the shit hits the fan. You're just like, oh wow, they've really gotten away with this, and then like the doorbell rings, and then like you have as an audience member, I don't know if you guys experience, just like, oh shit, well, like what's gonna happen now?
Yes, quite a bit.
And then like when it's finally revealed what is actually going on with the maid and her husband has been living under the house for like 4 years to avoid loan sharks. They're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, I understand that like, there are houses that have bunkers and stuff.
Well, I mean, see over there, and I'm not sure as much with Korean society as I am with Japanese society and Chinese.
But we don't really want to offend anybody because they could be
Right.
completely different cultures.
Well,
Right.
no, I'm just saying like they, at least in those two, loan sharks are different. They don't just go after you, sue you, and even
Right.
maybe jail time. They can actually beat the shit out of you, and
And they can
maybe
kill you.
One thing that really irritated me, not about the movie, because like I said, I couldn't find any flaws about the movie, but that annoyed me about the character, the mom, the Kim mom,
Yeah.
is why she not just tell her that, hey, it's a late hour, just come back tomorrow. And maybe this whole thing could have been avoided, and she ended up letting her in. Anyway, when she let her in the house, and the mom is like waiting there, and she's like, okay, what's taking her so long? And then when she goes in the alcohol room, or whatever room that is, and she sees her, you see the old maid standing the way she is and pushing the drawer over. I'm like, is she possessed? What is going on here?
Yeah, because I was just like, oh shit, no. Actually, I think the old housekeeper said, I know it's late, I'm sorry about that, but it went on from that. So I think she kind of took care of a little bit of that. But yeah,
Well,
still, I would just be like, look, you need to fuck off. And
Yeah.
Well, and she garnered her trust by saying, "Hey, I know the names of the 3 dogs," and the picture above the system.
Well, I mean, she knew exactly who the hell it was, but I would have just been like, yeah, you can come back tomorrow,
Yeah.
or here in a couple of days when they're home. I'm not gonna let you in. You can fuck off. And then later on in that, when she revealed, oh, I cut the CCTV, wasn't that smart?
So
I would have been like, look, you need to go, because that would have set red flags, as in she's here to do shit.
Again, when she goes down into the basement and you see her running downstairs saying, honey, honey, what were you guys thinking?
I was just like, what?
Before
the hell?
you even see her husband on screen. What were you guys thinking?
I was thinking, does she have a whole fucking family here, or like, because I kind of thought like, it made me think of Us, for that matter, because the rich are living above and the poor are living below, and I was just like, dude, did he watch that and just like come up with his own concept of this or something like that? And I'm like, it makes perfect sense with that, just because of the poor invading in and being a parasite off the rich, but the rich being a parasite off them, so it's an everlasting circle that just eats itself. But I was just like, hold up, does she have a whole damn family down here, or what's going on? It was crazy.
It is crazy. This movie is all different kinds of feels, but when you finally notice that the old maid has her husband down there, and earlier on in the movie, the dad was like, man, it's like she's eating for two. The first watcher, you don't really understand what's going on, but the second watcher, like, oh my god.
Well, and the thing that was so it's just the little details in this film that make it so incredible. It's just like when the Kim mother goes down there and follows her into the bunker, and she figures out what's going on. The maid is just like, oh sis, please, we're the same. In retrospect, we're in the same. We come from the same group
And
of
she's
people.
like, no, don't call me sis.
No.
Which,
I'm calling the police.
Two things I will point out, or at least, one, she said that, okay, at first Mr. Park says she eats for two, or it's like she eats for two. I can't see where she puts it, but then all the hard work she does, so I understand that. Two was kind of like going into that later on. I get, she's got her husband down there and all that, but she says that she pays for the food from her own pocket. So how, how would he truly know if she's buying groceries, since there's a fridge down there? How would he truly know that? Two is that if he's running from loan sharks, she supposedly gets paid decently. Why doesn't she just save up and pay the loan sharks off? Like that kind of, I was just like, what the hell, Because and then part B on that, number two, wouldn't the loan sharks come after her if they knew they were married? Don't get me wrong, after 4 years, I'd be like, okay, where the hell is my money at? Like, you know what? Fuck him. Fuck finding him. Let's find his family. You know what I mean? And obviously spouse or children would come up first, and then after that, parents and blah, 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 blah. But that is one little thing that I was like, wait, what the hell? But, that's just delving in a little too deep.
It was really interesting to see the way that as soon as, they have the little fight over the phone, which I thought was hilarious. Probably one of my favorite scenes. And then once they get the wife and the old man back down in the basement,
when they get the call saying, oh, it's kind of the camping trip's kind of a dud, we're coming home, and everyone's just kind of like, okay, but first get these two out, get them back in the bunker, start cleaning up, and then the housemaid comes up from the stairs, and you think she starts screaming like, hey, you need to watch out for these. The Kim mom just like pushes her down kicks her down the stairs and hits her head. It's like, oh damn.
All I could see was, this is Sparta.
Right.
Like a bitch.
Which ends up killing her, killing the original maid.
Well, it doesn't help that Jessica like put like a bunch of like peaches in front of her face.
Well,
I know Bong Joon-ho said that this was one of the really not so uncomfortable things he wanted to talk about, but he enjoyed talking about it anyway, was the sex scene. The randomized sex scene that is on the couch between the two rich the mom and the dad.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was more about showing
a peep into the intimate life of the rich.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong,
which is on the Q&A.
And this is the only reason I kind of cut in and like I'm mixing with you. But it is kind of like that, because don't get me wrong, you wonder what your most favorite celebrities or music artists or actors or whatever is doing. You know what I mean? Their average day life. You see little pictures like, okay, I'm a huge fan of Eminem, and I've seen a little picture of him going in a whole Foot Locker being shut down just so he can be in there. Because, don't get me wrong, more likely he's going to spend quite a bit of fucking money.
Oh, yeah.
So, cool.
Because he's not only buying, like, shoes for the week. He, hey, I only get out, a few times a year. I'm probably gonna buy shoes for probably the rest of the year.
I mean, dude's
My
got a
daughter,
couple hundred
whatever.
million.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got a
Um,
couple 100 million. Fuck
but
it,
like
let's go.
the way I kind of
Well, and the thing to me is like the Kim family's hiding under the table when all that's going on. But even before the sex scene, it's like the conversation between the man and the wife is just like, oh, there's that
the
weird
smell.
smell, and it just smells like the subway. I would never in a million years go down there.
Like an old
ride
radish.
Yeah, and I love the reaction of like the
dad.
The dad is just like, this is who we are. We can't escape this.
And it's not the smell of the clothes or the laundry soap. It's the smell of the basement. You're never gonna get that smell away from you.
Yeah.
That being, that poor smell, that living in the basement, that musty, malty smell. It's kind of sad to say, but I can really see the director twisting that Parasite just a little bit to really,
Which
doesn't matter how many times you wash or you change your soap, it's always going to be there.
Correct.
Which, I mean, with I think what you were saying earlier is that the little boy is the one who actually first discovered this.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't discover that they are of the same family or kin or whatever you want to call it, but he discovered, hey, they smell alike. And at that, you're kind of going, okay, a little psychotic bastard.
Yeah.
Cool, but it becomes a bigger factor in it, and you're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which a lot of this movie starts riding on the kid in the second act.
Yeah, and it really hits the dad whenever the impromptu birthday party happens, and mom's like, "We need to go grocery shopping," and she rolls down the window, and
puts her foot up on the seat, and it's like,
and then he has that look in his face. Yeah, like at that point you knew something was gonna happen.
Like he's kind of breaking at that point.
Yeah. Well, and there's a great
sequence,
not a sequence, but like a symbolic image when they finally escape out of the house and it's pouring raining and they're going down like the street to get to where they're going. The camera like follows them going down the road and it pans down into the gutter, just they're going back to that, and their house is completely flooded and they're trying to save their belongings, and they end up in a gymnasium
like a
full
shelter,
of like a whole of the whole neighborhood.
Yep.
And so it's just like, oh no, this is how we deal with it, while the Parks are just sitting at home
and
enjoying
then
life.
the dad is like, the best plan is no plan at all.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, basically is kind of true, because if you're adaptable to any situation, you don't need a true plan. You just observe and react. I mean, no wrong, essentially. But I mean, when they get from that to the birthday party, and
you see Kevin go downstairs with the rock.
Yeah, and I mean, don't wrong, like,
you knew his intentions.
Yeah.
But I think when they were in the shelter, that the dad kind of played that off like that. That's going to be my intentions. Like, I'm going to go down there and kill that dude.
But I really didn't.
I think it could have been kind of dual-sided for that matter. He could have been offering them the rock as in, here, this has brought us virtue. Maybe it'll help you as well with your loan sharks or whatever he was thinking, or to try and eventually murder.
Right. But I didn't even take it that way. I just kind of interpreted it as like, I'm taking this down here to protect me. Kind of like a shield, if you will. But then he drops it down the stairs.
Which
what did you guys think when he was going to the would-be fake body, and then the wire gets wrapped around his neck and he gets drugged?
Honestly,
how crazy does that dude look, actually, when he's got the blood all over his face?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, part of me literally was kind of like, dude, why don't you just slip out of the damn thing and hog tie his ass and, go from there with it? I mean, but when he went forward and tried to, and then kind of went back to let loose on it, and then he escaped, I was like, oh shit. But then when the husband of the original caretaker or housekeeper, when the son started going up the stairs, I was just like, well, why doesn't this guy just like
grab the hook?
Yeah. And I think it was like a metal pipe or something.
Yeah.
And just pull his ass back, like, easy.
Well, and that ultimately is what happened. He gets choked out, and then like the husband takes the rock and bashes it over his head.
Which honestly, at that point, I thought the kid was dead.
Yeah, and then he does it again, and they show it just like. Well, like, there's no way he can
amazing
come back from
fucking that the way that scene was shot was amazing. But I want to say the scene before when you see the
Morse code with the light.
guy who what's the actor who does the Morse code?
Honestly, that's
I got
another
it right
thing I
here.
want to touch on, though. The Morse code, that's brilliant right there, because don't get me wrong, that's his facet to talk into the real world.
The husband of the housemaid.
Yes.
His name is Park Myun-hun.
When he is running up the stairs
Oh.
and he's touching the walls
Yeah.
and he's going straight into the leading up to the kitchen, I thought that was shot. I thought it was amazingly shot, and it freaked me out when I first seen it. Like, oh my God, what is he about to go up and do?
You know what? What scene kind of freaked me out was when after the family comes home from the camping trip and the mom sits down with the poor family's mom. They're kind of explaining, well, our son had an incident when he was young, about 2 years ago.
Oh,
He's eating cake, and then and he just sees something, and they show the husband just kind of peek up from the stairs. Like, that creeped the hell out of me.
Seriously, I mean, no wonder the kids got fucking, nightmares and shit.
And see, they think he just, was making some of it up, or he saw a ghost, but he didn't know it wasn't a ghost.
And then they were saying, I like the little cultural references that they're actually pulling from, because, I mean, he is Korean, so he probably knows quite a bit about his own culture easily. And I love the fact that the family, or the mother, said that a ghost is good luck for a home. I was just like, are you sure about that? Because have you ever seen The Exorcist? Yeah.
I did want to say the knife is brought to you by, it's funny how the first person to pick up the knife is
The
husband.
Right.
And then, he goes outside and he stabs and kills Jessica.
Yeah.
And then he goes and tries to go for the mother. And it's just funny how the knife is picked up by this poor parasite.
Yeah.
And then the last person to hold the knife is picked up by the other poor parasite.
Yeah.
And the husband then uses that knife to kill
the rich
dad.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he was gonna do it until he saw the rich dad go for the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Which Zach, help me on his name.
Let me see. I'll find him. Lee Sun-kun.
He picks up the keys and he's sitting there holding his nose.
Oh my God.
Because of the smell.
Yeah.
And it,
and that just sets off.
He snaps. He's over there looking at his daughter bleeding out and dying. His wife is, fighting this crazy bizarre dude that he's had enough of, and she picks up a very good looking shish kebab steaks and stabs him into the heart, or into the side with it. So he's done and out for.
But yeah, that little tiny, he picks up the keys and there's that Subway smell again, and that just sets the father off. Like, that's it, I'm done.
Which, I mean, I find it kind of crazy that
Did that ending to you guys not feel like a Tarantino ending?
Yeah. Like, that last 20 minutes is like, oh, this is definitely Tarantino.
Actually, it would be more like the last, maybe
40 minutes, yeah.
No, I find it funny with the man who was in the basement. He was always, Mr. Park, respect, because he was kind of given respect knowing that I am living under your roof, even though you don't know, I know. And I respect you because basically you're feeding me, providing me with food, shelter, water, facility to use the bathroom in, to sleep in, and all that, even though you don't know shit.
That's funny that's the last word they both heard before they died. Or, that he said respect, and that would be the last word he heard before he died.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong.
He being the rich dad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're going to have to just keep that thing on all day.
Lee Kyung?
Yeah, Lee Sun-kun, yeah.
Lee Sun-kun. I want to point out that if you look, you see all kinds of other tunnels underneath, and that makes me wonder what the hell else is under there.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting that I don't know if it's going to be a TV series or a movie, but Mark Ruffalo is rumored to star in it, and HBO is picking up a miniseries called Parasite. So I don't know.
It's not even a remake. It's just kind of like a reimagining. It's an Americanized version of it, which do we need this? Just go watch Parasite.
Well, I mean, if you look at real life, there has actually been caught on CCTV or closed caption TV, security cameras, if you will, of this being a real life thing. I know.
Right. I mean, no different than some homeless people living under the in the streets, in sewers and stuff like that. Almost I still think we need to talk about it one day. Demolition Man is a perfect fucking example of people not wanting to upgrade or update themselves to modernize, pay bills, work, do anything like that. So they go underground, they live, they jump right up, steal some Taco Bell, and go back underground.
Well, I mean, this one woman was actually living in a guy's attic for at least a year or so, and literally she would come out just to use the bathroom and
Oh yeah,
just to,
you both have Voodoo.
Yeah.
Homework this week should be watch Pigeons on Voodoo.
Pigeons?
Yes, it's on my account. It will completely mess your mind up. There's
Looking
a dude.
forward to it.
No, it's about a dude living in someone's attic, and he has no idea that this dude's living in his attic.
Because no, actually, when
He comes down.
this...
He comes down, uses his toothbrush for random things. Exactly.
Yeah. No, last night I was watching this morning at like 2 a.m.
Pigeon?
No,
Parasite.
Parasite.
Oh.
And it just gave me the creepy feeling.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, because you don't know everything that's going on around you. We're not omniscient.
Go check it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. But either way, so the
So-
party is happening.
Right. The son
You know.
is ends up not dying.
Which he
Which
gone
kind
through
of-
a lot of mental trauma, for
Right.
that matter, or brain trauma, I should say. Which, holy shit, I'm not
You know what I
surprised.
did like? I liked how, I don't know if which is, I'm sure it's true because the director is not just going to put it in there to put it in there. But I liked how their funeral home or their graveyards was kind of set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you saw all the
Little
all
displays.
the boxes and
Right.
stuff. I thought it was really classy looking.
That
Yeah.
really was, and I know that there's some versions here in the United States of that, but it's not as popular
Right.
at all, or it doesn't look like it's as popular. But I mean, with the son, I think he was having a form of PTSD, if you will.
Oh yeah.
Because he would laugh at situations that you shouldn't be laughing at or that weren't funny at all.
Did you guys like the
So-
ending? How you thought the son was like, one got into a lot of money.
Yeah.
The dad went upstairs and kind of hugged, and you thought it was going to be a happy ending.
You know what? Like,
He almost gave you two endings. You can kind of pick and choose which one you really want.
right. The film does such a good job of like setting up these little strings all the way through, like whether with the kid of like the he only has like 15 minutes when he has like a seizure, and that's set up in the party. The Morse code with the husband underground that sets up with the dad, and then the letters that they're always trying to contact with each other. And the first time I watched it, I was kind of like that last like 10 seconds when it's revealed that the son is still just living in that home. He's writing to his dad. I was like, that kind of like, I think if you had ended with them hugging in the rich home, that would have been like perfect. But on the second rewatch, I was like, you know what? This makes a little bit more sense because it's not, regardless if he has brain injuries or whatever, it wasn't going to be that easy to get back to that house.
Right.
Well, I mean, if you kind of paid attention to it, they already set up where the dad was basically going to be, after the murders and all that, because she said, "Don't you think it was smart? I cut the camera, sis, or I cut the security system, sis." So I mean, that was with malicious intentions and all that, or intentions of discreetness. But
And you can tell from the beginning the dad.
Well, I didn't catch that on the first watch.
Well, yeah, and
I caught it on part 2.
one thing. Once,
viewing
like
2.
when they shown the fucking little
The cord
snip,
tied, yeah.
I was just like, those bastards. I was like, they basically told you where the dad was going to be, but you don't put the two ties together to fully get the knot.
A lot of thought, a lot of meta in this movie. If you guys had to pick a favorite scene, what would you pick?
Party scene. Well, the scene from when the husband that was staying in the basement came up to the party scene,
all the way to the end.
So much tension and just, I think, released aggression. Because don't get me wrong, if you were underground for over 4 years,
you're gonna have some problems.
That's gonna be a lot of pent up time.
What about you, Zach?
Honestly, I don't want to say the whole thing because it's
cliche, but it's a damn good movie.
Yeah. But that first hour of them just inserting themselves in the family is just so fucking excellent.
Yeah.
It's just the first watch you're just like, oh, what, like, oh, God, this is actually very smart. And then the second rewatch you're just catching on to things. It's like, oh, that leads to this, that leads to that. That's how the mom gets in. That, and then like the later half of the film with the party and just the outcome is it's just truly incredible.
My favorite scene would probably be the scene where they're gathering around the Kims having dinner in the rich family's house, and they have their conversations, and then the old maid rings the doorbell. Right when that doorbell rings, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Both the first, second, and third time. And then the party scene. But like I said, this movie, I found no flaws.
No.
It's
Well, and something else we didn't really mention was the actual house of the Kim family.
Yeah.
It is very nice. It's very stylistic. It's very like the lawn itself is beautiful, but it's just enclosed in a gate while it's surrounded by where the Parks live.
which I will have to say, while you're on that subject, I will say I'm glad that he built this entire set. Like,
yeah, that is all
like
completely built from scratch.
all practical effects. Another thing that makes this movie flawless.
Yeah.
Rating time, guys. If you had to give it a 10, I'm gonna jump right out there and say a 10. I think this is one of, if not the best movie of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking enjoyed it the entire time, all 3 viewings. I'm probably gonna watch it again before next week's episode.
There you go.
Ed, what about you?
It came in late, but it came in swinging hard, and yeah, I'd have to agree. 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a damn good movie.
Zach?
It's a perfect 30, 10 out of 10.
I think the only drawback of this movie, and the purely only, and it depends on the person for that matter, will be keeping up with the dialogue as well as the plot of the movie.
Because
the plot of the movie is very, very simple.
It is.
I almost think you can watch the movie with subtitles off and just listen to them speak.
Yeah.
And you could probably follow a little bit better than most foreign films.
Well, I mean, sad it is to say, I mean, I tried. The first time I watched it, my mom wanted to watch it with me. She got like 20 minutes into it and said, I'm done.
I just think, and that's part of the reason I'm saying that's the only drawback on it. But that's really, like I said, due to the person.
But at least she tried.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people out there.
There are people that are not going to watch this because it's an international film.
Right.
Let's just be frank.
And I wouldn't say those are like more simple-minded, more simple-minded people. But I will say, like, if it's not for you, I mean, I don't know.
If you've tried to watch subtitle movies before and you can't really follow that easily, you may have a hard time with this as well. Even though it is kind of like the Mrs. Park, a simple movie with just brilliant timing, brilliant plot, brilliant choreography,
just
and
execution
all that.
altogether, yeah.
It is a great movie.
But before we do emails, we touched on it a little bit. They are going to do an HBO limited series. It's going to be from Adam McKay, who did The Big Short and Vice, and Bong Joon-ho is actually a creative collaborator. Which on that note, I'm just like, okay, maybe we can't get something good out of this.
Good idea on that.
I'll check it out, but I'd still rather just probably put in Parasite.
Right.
This week's emails, guys, I want to say thank you for all the emails. You guys can email us at Cine-Men 921. That's CINEMEN 921 at gmail.com. You guys can also leave us messages and comments on Facebook at facebook.com/moviereels405. That's Reels, REELZ, or just Facebook search the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. We pop right up. CINMEN, and the Twitter is at Cine-Men405. So let's get into the email bag. Hey, this is James from Cleveland. Wanted to say, enjoyed the Birds of Prey episode. Listened to it after I went and checked it out. I highly recommend this movie. Had some flaws, but not the best superhero movie or anti-hero film, but it's still pretty fun. I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts on Parasite. Yeah, I mean Birds of Prey was good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the best of all time, but it definitely is an entertaining film.
It's a fun watch.
It does its purpose, definitely.
Sarah97 wants to say Parasite is the best movie I've seen in a while, as I've noticed in this. It's a very deep message and kind of shows you how things can really change all in one day.
Yeah, that's true.
Showing how just one comment or one window rolled down, So, also it's got to kind of show you, like, be careful what you say around who you say it, because even though it might be your opinion, Like, you never know if somebody does hear them, it might hurt their feelings, or it might like just drive them over the edge to stab you to death.
Yeah.
Sam G69 says, got the chance to see this in theaters last November, and it was amazing,
Man.
especially on the big screen. I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it. I was talking to Ed about this earlier. Like, I really wish I would have saw this in theater, which it's still in some theaters, I think.
Yeah, it's actually playing at Harkins. They have a couple showings. They had a couple showings yesterday, so it'll probably be there at least by the end of the week. So
Nice.
I will say that is one thing I do like about Harkins. They do try and broaden their aspect. They bring in a lot of foreign or anime films.
Yeah, this is true. Coco Chris says, besides Jojo Rabbit and Endgame, this is probably my top 3 of the year. I loved Parasite.
Nice.
There you go.
David from Houston says, didn't enjoy Parasite as much as I feel like I would have. To me, Ford versus Ferrari should have won Best Picture. I really enjoyed that film.
I mean, difference is opinion. I mean, don't
right. Which, I mean, you guys can hear our thoughts about that next week, because next week's movie that we're covering, Monday, February the 24th, is Ford versus Ferrari, directed by James Mangold, which I'm, one of my favorite directors. I think it's going to be a good watch, hopefully.
We got starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale.
Rosa from Arizona says, first time emailer, long time listener, says Birds of Prey was okay, Parasite was cool. I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it on your episode. What did you think of the smell of the poor people?
Just a crazy thing that just distinguishes. Okay, because I'm gonna go back to Hunger Games. If you remember the scene between PETA and the host, he said, this talking about the soaps, and then he smelled him. He's like, "May I?" And he said, "Sure." He's like, "You definitely smell better." It kind of just comes. It doesn't really leave you. It just gets slowly washed away here and there over time, apparently.
Right.
And it's just kind of, you come from rags to riches in a way. So I think it's a good comparison.
Yeah, and I think
it uses it well.
And I think that when they first noticed the smell, and then the scene cuts to them at home, is like, the dad's like, "You tell me we have to wash all of our clothes differently?" And the son's like, "Yeah, they caught on to this, so we got to be more careful."
Anonymous wants to say, why did you guys? Sorry. Anonymous wants to say, why did you guys think that the movie was called Parasite instead of Parasites?
Well, because one family is being a parasite onto another family. I mean, it's basically.
Well, I'm just saying, like, because in the Kim family, there's 4. I don't know. I mean, I honestly didn't think about it.
I mean, honestly, it can be kind of taken in different ways, but I mean, some people use different verbiage in a different way. I mean, maybe it just didn't translate correctly as a plural. I don't know.
I think it fits better as parasites when you kind of start thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
Last email of the day, Stephanie from Texas says, I love to see you guys do more foreign films. This is funny. I think you guys should do a rewatch of Roma, Johnny. I think you would really enjoy it more.
Nice.
Stephanie from Texas, you're awesome for that. That's hilarious.
I'm going to be open-minded about it. I think, whether it be a Netflix viewing or a Criterion viewing, maybe we'll do an episode about Criterion and rewatch Roma. I think, I'm open to do more foreign films, especially after how today was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think we had a really good conversation about Parasite, and I can't wait to hear more emails sent in about Parasite or Ford versus Ferrari or Birds of Prey. It's going to be a fun spring, and I'm really looking forward to the next season.
Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, which, if I'm not mistaken, spring forward, March 8th.
So
we'll see.
Don't forget, guys, next week we're going to be talking about Ford versus Ferrari. It's available now on Blu-ray. It's also available at the Redbox. So you guys are going to be able to hear our thoughts about it next week.
And this is your first viewing for both of y'all, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to try to see it 2 times before next Monday.
Of course.
Zach, do any of you guys have anything else to talk about Parasite or?
I honestly think it's always a great feeling when a film like proves you wrong, and knowing that I will be the first to admit I was kind of like I wasn't scared, I was just kind of worried about it, like, am I gonna enjoy this? But it just, like I said, it feels really great when they fucking prove you wrong.
Yeah, and it's 2:15 and it flies by.
Yeah.
Ed?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was not skeptical about the film being good or anything like that, but I was skeptical to watch it because I thought it was just going to be an all-out gore fest. I was just like, oh, fuck, great. But I feel like it's the Academy's step in the right direction because they're going to open their minds up. Because, does America make great movies? Yeah, they sure do. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong. But that does not mean that the world does not make great movies. And for this to be recognized and be the firstborn film and just have that step in that direction, I think is a great opportunity for filmmaking industries to broaden very, very highly. And I can't wait for that, just because that's going to be an amazing feat, for
Yeah.
that matter.
Well, and when we said it in our Oscar show, well, before the Oscars, me and Johnny both thought 1917 was going to win. Well, that is an incredible film. It's good to see something something original, something different to take the top prize.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen a lot of films that I was just like, damn, I mean, Fences is one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that dialogue is amazing and
Heavy dialogue.
Yeah.
The shared emotion. I mean, everybody expects something like that from Denzel Washington, but for him to help elevate the cast around him, that whether you know it, whether you don't,
Right.
for that matter, is just an amazing film to catch. And yeah,
You guys can catch Parasite on Vudu, YouTube, Google Play, $3.99. You can rent it on the Xbox as well, or just go check it out. I'm sure it's going to be at the Red Box. Parasite's an amazing film. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Don't forget lunch specials, dinner specials, all-day specials, $6.99 Monday through Friday. The official sponsor of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You guys can check out locally here in Oklahoma, San Marcos at Southwest 59th and Agnew, right there in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. As far as we go, this is Juan saying we'll see you next Monday for Ford versus Ferrari right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.